television is empty. I try to tell you, baby, you can't see. You turned on, it's strong. It's hurting now, but it won't be long.
This is 90.3 The Rock and UTTV The Rock Unplugged. And my name is Benny Smith. Proud to be here, proud to be your host, and proud to be live on the radio this evening as well. Old 97's on New West Records, now touring to support this absolutely great new album. It is called Blame It on Gravity. You've been hearing it here on 90.3 The Rock for quite some time. Dance With Me was the first single we had on what seems like 2 or 3 months almost ago now, and we're 2 or 3 cuts deep into this great record. A record that kind of harkens back to the I don't want to say old days. Let's say the early days of old 97s and their sound and their energy, and I can be pretty qualified to say that because I was very lucky to have worked with this band in this town since those early days and bring them into Knoxville to play the legendary Mercury Theater and various venues after that, and it has been quite a privilege knowing these guys and getting to know them, and it's been nothing but fun listening to their music all those years and working with them, and I'm so happy that they've got a great new record. Again, it's called Blame It on Gravity, Old 97s, and we have got Mr. Rhett Miller in studio with us now. Rhett, how are you, man?
I'm great. It's my pleasure to be back here with you again. It's nice to see you.
Always great to see you too, man. Great to see the band. Good to see Murray. Murray was going to come down feeling a little puny, so we told him just stay on the bus, and we'll come down here and take care of that treacherous radio work. Again, like I said, something that I've been very lucky to work with you guys for quite some time. It's always good to catch up with you. And especially this time around, coming in, bringing with the band into the Bijou Theater, which is a great venue, by the way. You guys, I think, have played it before, but are going to have to just enjoy it this evening. And congratulations, first and foremost, on celebrating a great new record. Again, Blame It on Gravity. Old 97 is the name of it on New West Records, one of my favorite record labels, too. Those guys are doing a great job. Congratulations, man. You've got to feel good about it. It's just a great record.
Yeah, thanks. I love it. I wouldn't be working this hard if I didn't love it.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Nice. You know, it's been a little while since we made a record, and the last one we made, Drag It Up, was we made it real quick, and you know, it wasn't as much fun maybe as this one was. This one was just a blast to make, and you know, getting to play these songs in front of people. You know, we're playing a lot of new stuff, and we play tons of stuff off the old records. But we're playing a lot of new stuff, and it seems like, you know, the audience not only can handle it, they seem to appreciate it. So,
well, it makes me feel a little experienced. I'm not going to say old, but you guys have been around 15 years now. Congratulations. That alone is something in today's, you know, one-and-done world, if you will, of rock and roll music, especially in popular music. But not just from an artistic standpoint and a creative standpoint, but you guys remain friends to this day. I mean, that's, you know, you put 4 guys and a road manager or whatever in a tour bus for a long time, or a van for many years, and you guys still together 15 years later. That says a lot about you guys, I think, as people other than musicians, too. You're friends.
Yeah, we go a long way back, and you know, it's not always easy, but you know, we love each other, and I had a bunch of bands before, and you know, nothing against them, but it takes a while to find the guys that you can be in a band with forever, and I think we can do that. You know, we've always wanted to have a long career, and we would have taken that over a hit song maybe any day. You know, some of those people that were on Elektra at the same time as us had maybe bigger hits or sold more records, but you know, are they still here today? Are they in Knoxville tonight?
No.
I don't think
Is
so.
Charlie Leuven opening for them? No.
Yeah.
Very cool. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about this great new record again. It's called Blame It on Gravity, Old 97s. We've got Rhett Miller in studio live and on UTTV, The Rock Unplugged, which you can check out every Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday night in Knoxville on Channel 194 on the Comcast digital package, and even more importantly, Channel 65 here on campus. But while we're at it, what you going to do for us first, man?
How about My 2 Feet?
All right, My 2 Feet. It's got Rhett Miller from Old 97s live on 90.3 The Rock and UTTV, The Rock Unplugged. Have at it.
Baby, trust me, your television is empty. I try to tell you, baby, you can't see. You turned on, it's strong. It's hurting now, but it won't be long. I got a habit of moving on. It gets so lonesome, you don't know. Such a lonely way to go. Well, I'm going on down the mountain on my 2 feet, and I'm going slow. I'm going on down the mountain on my 2 feet, and I'm I'm going slow. Right there, upstairs, undressed and unprepared. For the moment, baby, we don't care. You're so fine, so fine. For the moment, baby, you were mine. I ain't saying it was by design. It gets so lonesome, you don't know. It's such a lonely way to go. Well, I'm going on down the mountain on my 2 feet, and I'm going slow. I'm going on down the mountain on my 2 feet. I'm going slow. Sometimes you're 17, sometimes you're 65, sometimes you're giving it your best try, but nothing's right, no, nothing's right. You get a second chance, it's with you every day. You know it's always been that way. You make it stay, you make it stay. I bet you said, what have I done to deserve this mess? And that's as easy as a question gets. Well, you should have said yes, but you couldn't care less. Oh, it gets so lonesome, you don't know. It's such a lonely way to go. I'm going on down the mountain on my 2 feet, and I'm going slow. I'm going on down the mountain on my 2 feet. I'm going slow. I'm going on down the mountain on my 2 feet, and I'm going slow.
Very, very cool stuff live in studio. That is the one and only Rhett Miller from the band Old 97s. Blame It on Gravity, the name of the brand new CD. And it is a mighty fine one. My 2 feet, the name of that one. And I'll tell you what, Rhett, good stuff, man. You get into it live in a radio station just as much as you do on stage, don't you? I love it.
I've got 2 speeds, on and off.
Yeah, absolutely, man. But the main thing, again, they're on tour to support this excellent new CD, Blame It on Gravity, on New West Records, and one that you hear quite a bit here on 90.3 The Rock. A record that kind of goes back to the roots or the earlier days of Old 97s. It's got that energy, it's got that charge, it's got that great songwriting and lyrical content that, Rhett, you're so good at. But I noticed in the some press along the way, I think it's your MySpace, you went back and you kind of cited a quote from another legendary performer who's getting ready to play the Bijou later this month, and that is Randy Newman, talking about, well, you go ahead. Tell us what it said. I mean, because I think it captures the essence of this CD, and that, basically you said, I think he said, you hope we're just as good at 50 as we were when we started at 20, I guess, right? Or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I want to do this for the rest of my life, and so he's pretty funny.
Yeah, he's a great songwriter.
The other quote I always think about is Tom Waits when he said, he goes, I like writing songs. I write a song and I say, okay, fly away and go make daddy some money.
Well, you always hope for that, of course.
Yeah,
well, you're still the main songwriter, I guess, in the band. Are all these songs from Blame It on Gravity, are they all brand new songs, or are they maybe one or two that you've had for a while and you said, well, let's it's time to put that one on a record? I mean, where did all these songs come from?
Most of them are new. There's a couple that, one of them, let's see, She Loves the Sunset. I tried to get that put on Drag It Up. But like I said, I think the vibe on that record was not conducive to like an island song, a happy island song.
Yeah.
And then another one, The One, is a song I actually wrote back during the Too Far to Care days. Mm-hmm. It was right when we got signed to Elektra Records, and the whole song's a metaphor for robbing a bank, and the record industry at the time was the bank, and it's kind of funny. Like at the time, I think it seemed a little crass, like we were gloating or something like that. But now, in retrospect, that since we've sort of outlived the record industry, at least Elektra Records.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. It got funnier over the years.
Yeah, I was going to ask, are you guys, I mean, you went through that whole total corporate big label screw, if you will, and a lot of bands, I mean, to a degree, and a lot of bands did. I don't know if you call it screw, but I don't know.
We had actually a pretty good experience with Elektra. I mean, I think they were maybe wishing we would be more like Missy Elliott or even Third Eye Blind or something.
Right.
But they kept us around for, 3 records, and they spent a lot of money on getting people to know who we were, which was the old model. But that doesn't... They don't do that anymore.
No, they don't.
There's a few labels, and the people they're pushing are the Rihanna, the pop, the big, American Idol winner type deal.
Right.
But I like this world better. I think it's better for music and better for fans.
I was going to say, you aren't 4 guys that tend to do this anyway. It didn't jade you at all. You didn't get jaded by the experience. I mean, in fact, it seems like I said, that you've come back with an album that's as good as any you've done, and on a label that is just amazing. The folks at New West, and props to Jeff Cook for helping set this up, but they are just a great label with a lot of great artists on that roster.
Yeah, I think people trust them in the way that you used to trust like a Sub Pop or a Merge or you can look at a label and say, if I like this general kind of music, I'm gonna like everything they put out.
Right,
and they're good at that.
They kind of have that spirit of an indie Americana label.
Well, a lot of that is Peter Jesperson, our A&R guy, who was, he was the guy that brought Twin Tone Records and brought the Replacements to the world.
Minnesota, my God, all the Minneapolis bands on Twin Tone. Yeah, what a very cool thing. Well, it's just a great record. And before I go any further, Murray Hammond, Kim Bethea, Philip Peoples, still rounding out the band other than yourself, Rhett Miller. Been the same band for 15 years now, and like I said, riding in those same vans, but now in a nice bus, and still together and going strong. And what about the whole songwriting process? I mean, a lot of things have changed in your guys' life. We talk about this on the way over, but you got a 5-year-old son and a 2.5-year-old daughter now, but you're kind of over that hump, if you will, a little bit, aren't you, as far as that whole, wow, we're adults now type thing? I mean,
yeah, it's weird. It's a different thing, but funny, I don't really feel any different at all, It just feels like it keeps on going on. The right things happen, and it is different. Like when I was in my 20s, I thought, every single thought I had was the most important thought that anyone could ever have.
It didn't.
I stayed up all night getting drunk and writing songs, and now I got to steal away and take my stolen moments here or there. It's funny. I've gotten pretty good at writing songs with my kids in the room, or even on tour. If I'm in the room with Philip, who I usually room with, the drummer, I could just sit there with Philip watching some TV show, and I'll write a song. And it's like you got to just get over it. I used to be real precious about needing to be all alone and no one can hear me make a fool of myself while I've worked this thing out. But, whatever. I'm over it.
Maybe a little jaded with that, I guess. Or a little, just like you said, just over the whole process. Well, of course, you guys have recorded your other records, I guess, L.A. or New York or wherever. But for this one, again, and it may be some of the reason that, and you guys proud to be from Dallas, Texas, and I guess from the Greenville area of Dallas. Is that right? Lower Greenville. And that's where you went back to record this record, right? I mean, was that something you wanted on purpose? Did you think, wow, let's go back home and do this thing?
Well, it's funny. We did it because we wanted to work with Salim Narala, the producer, and he's got a studio down there that's really great. And he just actually had doubled it in size right before we went in. And it was... And part of the reason the record sounds like, old school, old 97s is because Salim is a great friend of ours, and has been a fan and knows our stuff, and really, I think, made a point to try and bring out in us what he sees people like in us,
Right.
the rockin' live show, or the pretty harmonies, or, some of the twangier stuff, and it was good. It was really a great experience making this record. It was a lot of good vibes.
Well, you can tell. I mean, it feels good when you listen to it. Again, it's called Blame It on Gravity, the new Old 97's New West record that I'm sure you'll have copies of at the show tonight as well for sale. I mean, it just feels good. It's got that feel-good feel and sound to it that Old 97's records, have for years, especially the early ones when you guys used to come through town, and we used to eat some homemade spaghetti before the show at Mercury Theater, and then drink the rest of our appetite away, basically, for the rest of the night. But you guys have had a pretty passionate fan base here in Knoxville for quite some time, haven't you?
Man, it's so funny. This city is one of my favorite towns. You see it on the itinerary, and you're always excited.
Yeah.
It's just one of those, maybe